Okay, there's a beaver on the highway.
We're in Canada.
Well, of course you are. And Canada Friends welcomes you.
Welcome to Canada. Welcome to Canada. Welcome to Canada. Welcome to Canada. Bienvenue to Canada. Welcome. Hey, nice car.
Before granting you entry to Canada, I have a few simple questions. What do Canadians do more than any other people in the world?
Apologize.
No, play ice hockey.
Oh, sorry, yes.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's a good answer. Sorry, no, you're right.
So how do we get to Ottawa?
Oh, that's easy. You just have to follow the road.
Which road?
This is Canada. We only have one road.
Hello, sir. Welcome to Canada.
Get off the road.
Bienvenue.
You're gonna get hit.
Now, in Canada, do we say about or a boot?
About.
No, we say a boot. And Canada's cold, so when you're out and about, make sure you wear a boot.
That's right. When you're out and about, make sure you wear a boot. I completely misjudged how long it takes to make pork chops. My apologies for being late. Now, I have something that I would like to address here. The very first comment in here says that Rob is here to bring maturity and supportive comments. I'd like to know where he's bringing them from. Anyways, good luck on that job at the Monarchy. Hello, Rob. Hello, Lewis. Hello, Sonia. Hello, Fatima. Hello, Mr. Jim Foster with the magnificent hair. This isn't on, is it? Okay, good. I'm just going to try and catch up. Yes, I do require a tardy slip, Fatima, if you don't mind, for the official record. Hi, Sue. Am I caught up? See, this is what happens when you're late. It takes forever to catch up on the comments because I have no idea what's happening. As usual. Who didn't break an arm? Someone stole my tree. No, you were at the lodge last week. The tree's been gone now for a little while. Hey, Michelle. Yes, no more tree. And I found my light. So I'm not a floating head, just floating ears. So where are we going now? So hello to everyone. I know that a few of you watch this as a replay. Hello, Bob. And the others who watch. Thank you. Thank you. What did I want to do here? There we go. Okay. So without further ado, I think I'm almost caught up. Oh my God, the chat goes fast. Hi, Georgianne. So without further ado, I say I got too many buttons to push. All right, let's get into this. It is time for the poll results. Thank you once again for everyone who participated. This week's poll, which I can't even read, my God. Anyways, what game would you like to play at the campsite? And your choices were cornhole, frisbee, ladder ball, or giant Jenga. And I know not everybody participated because giant Jenga got 0. And I know that there are some giant Jenga fans in here. So cornhole wins out with 80% of the vote, which I thought was rather high for a game that is very heavy to carry around. Oh, I got a lens that's driving me crazy. Anyway, back to the chat. Thank you for all of those who participated. The poll is available every Monday on the community tab on. Sue missed the poll. See, Sue would have voted for Giant Jenga. I saw people from here playing Giant Jenga. So, oh my God, this lens is driving me nuts. Let's go. Okay, that's better. American football. I don't think we're playing American football at the campsite. That might be a little tough to do. Hold on one second. Sorry, I had to take that contact lens out. It was driving me crazy. It was regular Jenga. Yeah. And giant Jenga was at the pavilion. I'm not fired. Fatima voted for Jenga in the comment. Never played it, so I had to choose cornhole. Okay, that makes sense. So, eat hard hats with giant Jenga. You could get a concussion. Yeah, you could. Especially if it's elevated on a table. I think they were playing it on the patio stones in front of the pavilion at M23. All right. Moving right along, because I'm already late. Good job. Let's get into where in the world have you been? And today we are looking at something, not a specific place per se. Today we're going to look at I thought it'd be suitable to look at Canada, seeing as how that is kind of what today's theme is about, what the difference is between, get over there, between RVing in the States or traveling or camping in the States versus Canada. So put in the chat if you've been to Canada and where you've been in Canada. Have you been to the East Coast? Have you been to the West Coast? If you haven't, what's holding you back? Lewis is going to eat pizza. Sonia pronounces it Canudia. Tanya's here. Hey, Tanya. I know that Tanya has been to Canada. And she's been to the East. And she's been to the West. 5 million questions on Lewis's paper from Google tonight. Well, you enjoy your pizza, Lewis. Sonia doesn't want to talk about her Canadian experience. You picked, what was that stat that I sent you the other day? That the 401 is the busiest highway in the world with over 500,000, or was it 300,000 or 500,000 cars every day. Niagara Falls and that campsite that we visited you at. And that was a great campsite, but that was very out of the way and very not representative of Canada. Georgianne's been to Niagara Falls. And the Canadian side or the American side? Because I don't want to brag, but the Canadian side's better. Niagara Falls is on our short list for the summer. Just letting you know. We've already been there, and it was fabulous. But we were there when the kids were much, much younger. And we'd like to do older activities now. And the Canadian side, it is better. Oh, there you go. The side with the waterfall. The waterfall's on both sides. Georgianne also agrees that the Canadian side is nicer. Rob would visit Canudia, but doesn't know anyone here. Jersey seems like a much better move. I would agree with that. Canadian side is better. Fatima adores Niagara, and the Horseshoe Falls are mesmerizing. Yes, they are. Jersey is more dangerous than Canada. Although in either place, you might end up going over in a barrel. Oh, Georgianne zip-lined over the falls. That's cool. Now, how would you zip-line over the falls? Did you zip-line over the canyon or directly over the falls? Because that would put you at, where, at Goat Island? Is that where one of the Wolandas, the wonderful Wolandas, when he did his tightrope walk? Let's see. Yeah, it's Goat Island. Now, Goat Island is in the U.S. So do you zip line from Canada to the U.S. or is it further down? Yes, you can get a nice pair of concrete shoes in Jersey. Tanya still has to see BC and Newfoundland, and besides the territories, have been everywhere else. Yeah, I can give you Dylan's address if you're looking for somewhere to stay, Rob. Need to come to North Carolina. You have some good barbecue. I've been to North Carolina, although it was just the Outer Banks, in fairness. Yeah, the Maid of the Mist is pretty fantastic. It certainly is. It'd take you down the falls in Canada, not really over. Oh, that's cool. Still, be a heck of a ride. Which part of North Carolina? We went to the Outer Banks. So we went down. How did we get there? We came back up through the mainland. We went down through, we did Virginia Beach, and we crossed the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. Yes, Sonia, the Chesapeake Bay. Not the other Chesapeake Bay. Not the other Chesapeake Bay, which is the Delaware Bay. And then where did we take? We took the 70, went through, where did we go? Because we didn't take the 95. We went back up through Virginia Beach. So I guess we would have taken the 13 all the way up. So yeah, we kind of stuck to the coast. John put a U in honored. Wow. Very nice. I didn't even notice because it just looks normal to me because that's how you spell honored. Go to Asheville, home of Biltmore. Why is it called the Outer Banks? Because it is, it's a protective barrier island on the outskirts, I believe, and it's all sandbanks, and it shifts constantly. They have the highest sandbanks. I think they were the highest sandbanks in North America, if I'm not mistaken. Right near Kitty Hawk, right near. Where is it? See, I got to go watch my own videos now because I already forget. Jockey's Ridge State Park, which is right at Nag's Head. And the sands there are constantly shifting from the hurricanes, from the winds and from the storms coming off the ocean, and the banks can constantly move. They, when we were there, about a month after we were there, they opened a new bridge that goes away and it takes you away from the banks because they spend millions and millions of dollars every year rebuilding the road because it just gets washed away. So they finally built this bridge to go around. Lewis has lived in North Carolina for 18 years and never been to the Outer Banks. Well, you should definitely go. Because if it was on the inside, it would be called the Inner Banks. Alrighty then. So, so we went from talking about Canada to not talking about Canada. So, yes, there is lots to see in Canada. And I wanted to do Canada as where in the world because it is big. And I know that a lot of you have not been here or been here in very limited capacity. So I wasn't going to do any kind of specific city. And I thought because this week's live stream is about crossing the border and the differences between RVing in the States versus Canada, that it would be a good time to include Canada as that. Is the sand higher than Sleeping Bear? Sounds like a cool place to see. The sand is not as high as in Sleeping Bear, but in Sleeping Bear, I don't believe that it's a dune. And I think that's what the difference was. These are pure dunes. They are pure sand that has been washed up from the ocean by hurricanes. Did you go to Hatteras Bridge? Over there is one of the worst bridges. Yeah, I think we did. I'm pretty sure that we did because we did the whole thing. We stayed in Hatteras for a while, and we went to the lighthouse. I'm trying to think of where the bridge is. And while we were there, right near Hatteras, there was a between Hatteras and... No, it was right near Hatteras. Hatteras and Avon, where there had been a big storm the week before, and it had uncovered a shipwreck on the beach. Yes, Canada is definitely the most Canadian Canada that we can be. 14 minutes late. My goodness, Kevin. That's all right. You were less late than that because I was also late. Yes, Lewis, I did know that the first airplane flight was at Kitty Hawk, and we went to the Wright Brothers Memorial. I think Jim had a little more to say. Yes, Gord was late too. Yes, he was. All right. So moving right along from there, you, because you were late, Kevin, you missed the video with the talking beaver. But anyways, so we're going to get into talking about RVing in Canada versus the US. And so for those of you who have not been to Canada, what is different in Canada compared to the US? Well, probably the biggest elephant in the room would be the metric system. And the culture is very similar. The signage is very similar. We don't have interstates, so you will not see the interstate shield here, but we do. I'm not sure what's going on in the kitchen. But the highway signs, the speed limit signs, everything looks the same, with the exception that the speed limit signs look like you can go much faster here, but you can't. And yeah, and Tanya was late too. Michiganders are excused today. Well, we can tell who's taking care of the tardy book. Trans-Canada looks like an interstate. Nope, it doesn't. Parts of it may look like an interstate, but most of it is a 2 or 4 lane highway going through dense wilderness. Parts of it that go through cities look pretty good, but it looks more like an American highway than it does an interstate. Interstates, you're going to see like 400 series highways, especially those that go right into some of the major towns or major cities, that those look like interstates a lot. But when I grew up in a house 3 houses from the Trans-Canada Highway. The ice machine is always going during the live stream. Hi, William. So the biggest change, of course, is kilometers versus miles, and 100 kilometers an hour is about 55 miles an hour, and that is the average highway speed limit here. The other thing that you need to be wary of is the gas here is sold in liters. So before you get all excited about seeing a sign that says $1.78 a liter, that is per liter, and there are 3.8 gallons in a liter. And so, let me see. 178 a liter works out to about $6.90 a gallon, if I'm not mistaken. So do your math, because you will not be as excited when you actually get to the pump. That being said, you're going to fill up your truck here for, let's say, $125, but you're going to save 30% because you're paying with American dollars. So it'll actually end up costing you $90, whereas it probably costs you $70 or $80 at home. We definitely like going to the States for the cheap gas. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Rob sees no problems. Rob would fit right in here. Except he's got a strange accent. He doesn't say a boot properly. A boot. And what Canada has to offer, if you get a chance to go to Banff, if you've seen any of our videos, go there. We're definitely looking at doing another Maritimes trip very soon, also on the short list. And so we will bring you as much as we can from there. You have the highest tides in the world in the Bay of Fundy at 40 feet, go up and down every day. There's just so much to see here that, I mean, there's a lot to see in the States, but people just think that it is just one big wilderness up here. Yes, the blue light has been here for a while, Lewis. It's just been gone for Christmas. And sometimes it's purple. You got me American gluten? I don't even know what that is. Hi, Brie. What about NJ24? Yeah, strange accent. Yeah, Newfoundland says, hold my beer. You can't even understand what they're saying. That's almost like a whole different language. From what I have seen, watching other RV channels, speaking to American friends, the biggest thing holding most Americans back is crossing the border. People are terrified to cross the border. And I said I like gluten. I don't think I said that. I eat gluten, but keto and gluten are different things. Yeah, no, don't send me sugar. So yeah, crossing the border seems to be the biggest hassle. And even before we traveled, we had kids playing competitive hockey. We would cross the border a lot for hockey tournaments and things. And it's really not that bad. You need to be prepared. Is Phil here? I didn't even see Phil. Hey, Phil. Sorry, I didn't see you sneak in. Be prepared. As long as you're claiming everything, like it's really easy to get through the border. Sometimes they're going to ask you 2 questions. Sometimes they're going to ask you 20 questions. My only fear with getting over the border is I don't want to get pulled over into that secondary inspection thing because it just takes time. And the way that we travel, I usually pack so much stuff in. You guys have seen the videos. And, to me, I don't want to lose that time. We have only been pulled over for secondary inspection once. And we only had a customs agent come into the trailer once. And that was a U.S. agent who came in because I told him that we had tomatoes. We weren't allowed to have tomatoes. So I went in the trailer to give him the tomatoes, and he followed me in and saw a red pepper and took that too. So, it is what it is. I have not been to Churchill to see the polar bears. Tanya may have been because she did live in Winnipeg for a little while. Haven't seen the iceberg flow in Newfoundland, but you can see it in the northern St. Lawrence. If you're up around Trois-Rivières or if you make it up to Percé or any of those places, which is also on our list, you can see the ice flows right from there. Fatima's been pulled over more than once. Huh. Just remember to be polite. Give short answers. Don't give too much information. Yes and no when you can. They have no sense of humor, so do not joke around with them. They don't have time for that. Make sure that you're telling them. If they ask you if you have something, make sure you're telling them that you do. Because if you don't, that's and they find it, you are not in for a good day. Tanya never made it to Churchill. Need to do international travel. Well, we do. There's a Mexico video on our site. I believe there's a Cuba video on our channel. If you go back and look at the old videos, there is some international travel on there. It's more of an RV channel, but we put whatever. They're going to ask you questions, and they're going to try and trip you up. They may ask you the same question twice. They may ask you the same question different ways. Do not bribe them with moose plushies. No, especially the American ones. They don't find that funny at all. Don't tell them you know Gord. Yeah, because they know everyone. When you're coming across the Canada, you say, oh yeah, I know Gord there in Ottawa. Make sure that you have all of your documents with you. You do need a passport to come over to Canada and to get home. Permission letters. That's a fun one. you may need a permission letter. When I would travel for hockey, just me and one of the children, or a couple of the children, I needed a letter signed by Guylaine saying that it was okay for me to take them across the border with her contact information, because, you know, we don't want any Amber Alerts. The dog has decided he's going to start playing. That's perfect. Your agent was bored, asked 2 questions, and then chatted for 10 minutes. Well, that's pretty rare, actually. That's pretty rare. When I went to M23, the truck is in Guylaine's name because I have too many cars in my name. And so I needed a permission slip to bring Guylaine's truck across the border. They didn't ask me for it, but I had it in the glove box in case they needed it. If you have pets, you're going to need papers for pets. Again, it's probably rare that they're going to ask for them, but they might ask you for any kind of updates for shots and that sort of thing. Obviously, make sure that you have your ownership and your insurance for all the vehicles. I would imagine that was one thing that held Robert back for a while. I would imagine that he needed a permission slip from Winnebago and that he needed the ownership for it, even though he didn't own it. And so, you know, all of those things, if you have everything ready, you'll be fine. Yeah, you need a letter. I wonder if, because I would imagine that Daryl has the same thing. When Caden has a taekwondo in the States, he must need a letter from his wife to be able to take her across. I don't have papers for my shots. That was a thing. That was definitely a thing. You needed proof of vaccination to get across and to come home. We actually had an app that we had to have on our phones, and we had to register 24 hours before we came across the border and tell them what time we were coming across, and we had to provide digital copies of our vaccine receipts. So, yes. Yes, don't live stream your crossing. That's coming up. Yes, no recording devices. Know what you're allowed to bring across. I'm pretty sure that I have. No, where did I put that now? Hold on. Let's go over here. Yeah, you really need to know what you're bringing across, what you're allowed to bring across. Get out of here. Let's copy that. If you are interested, I can leave this here. You can check with the Canadian Border Security Advisory, and they will tell you what you're allowed to bring across, and it changes from time to time. I still don't think we're allowed to bring eggs across. I did offer to bring eggs for Jim's breakfast, but why and how did that post twice? That's kind of weird. Yes, everyone needs a passport. Yeah, everybody needs a passport. And be careful when they expire. Mine expires in October, so I will not be able to go to the States. That needs to be renewed before April for me to be able to go to the States. It's really good if you know your itinerary. They are going to ask you dates. If you have your you need to know when you're coming home, where you're going. If you have campsite reservations, if you have them printed, that's even better. They may want to see that. They may want to see it on your phone. So know all that stuff. California took Robert's lemons, and yeah, and that's like not even crossing a border. That's crossing a state border. So imagine coming to Canada. I know KYD one time was trying to cross, and they were going to take their oranges, and Mark stood outside the trailer and ate all the oranges. So, you know, it's you really need to check what you're allowed to bring, and don't be afraid to leave any of it there because they may take it. Turn off all your recording devices. They don't want to be on record, and you just don't want any trouble. There's really nothing to see there. I don't believe there's a sign that says that you have to. It's just common. You Googled it before you asked the question. So you're saying that you don't need passports? All my kids always had passports. Because how do you prove that they're your kids? Sriracha pita chips and artichoke jalapeno dip be seized? Probably not. So they're more looking for, the way that it was explained to me was, if you have a red pepper that's whole, that's in the fridge, they can't see what's inside it. There may be insects inside it. There may be worms inside it. There may be something inside it. if that red pepper is chopped up and in something, or even sealed in a bag, they can see that there's nothing in it and it's fine. They won't take it. Children under 16 need proof of U.S. citizenship. Now, okay, so that's a good point. That's what I forgot. I'm speaking as a Canadian going to the States and coming back. It may be different in the U.S. as to what kids need. So that may be true, Brie. Yeah, chopped is okay, whole is not. Cooked meat is okay, raw meat is not. So just know what you're allowed to bring. We got to the point where we would cross with no food at all, unless it was in a package. And even then, there's certain rices that you can't bring across, cooked or not cooked. So apparently Rob likes to nest his peppers. Firearms. This is always an interesting one. Firearms are permitted. You have to have the proper paperwork for it. And expect to go through a lot of red tape bringing a gun to Canada. If you don't need it, don't bring it. It can be more trouble than it's worth. It's up to you. I have no comment about guns other than check to see how much trouble it's going to be to bring it across, and if you really need it. Even bear spray is hard to get across, so just be aware of that. If your child is under a certain age, they can share your passport. Oh, that's interesting. Juvenile passports are only good for 5 years. Yeah, and it's the same here. The juvenile passports are only good for 5 years because they look different after 5 years, and they actually have their pictures in them. So you guys ate most of your food in Michigan, ate PB&J for one night in Canada, and shopped when we got to Vermont. Yeah, and that's, you know what? The less you have, the better it is. You know, nobody showed up at the trailer for a hot dog, so I had to come home with all those hot dogs. You should have gotten daughters. You weren't thinking, but you would like to drive 2 hours to Canudia. Yes, need to get her a passport. You should, because there's a lot to see, especially where you guys are. That part of the country is absolutely amazing. I mean, so is your part of the U.S. So someone tried to cross over the U.S. with an insect and raw rice. It would have devastated Michigan agriculture. Wood is not allowed. Wood is, yeah, and it's the same here. Wood is not allowed. You guys aren't allowed to bring wood between states. We're not allowed to bring wood between provinces. And they really discourage you. What the heck is that? They really discourage you even from bringing wood from campsite to campsite, even in the same province. So yeah, as soon as they find out you're a cop, yeah, I can imagine. The other one is cannabis. Cannabis is legal in 10 border states, also legal in 5 of the Canadian border states, but you cannot bring it across the border either way. So don't even bother trying. The reason, from my understanding, the reason is that if it's across the border, you might bring it into a province or a state where it's not legalized, and you can get in a lot of trouble that way. There's enough places to buy this stuff. If that's what you're into, just buy it wherever you get. We even started doing that with the booze. It's some things in the States is cheaper, some is more expensive. We find a lot of the food is more expensive, especially produce. But the gas is cheaper, and the booze is cheaper. Yeah, we do have the better booze, but yeah, I'm the same. But just thought I'd put it out there, Sonia, in case somebody is, kind of trying to make this all informative if possible. Well, you never see a Grateful Dead concert in Canada, and that's why, Rob. They asked if your camper was sitting in grass or stored in closed storage area. Something about bugs. Oh, that's interesting. I've never been asked that. Maybe it was a certain kind of bug that was prevalent at the time from where you were, or because this is a moving target. Like, you really need to be on top of it if you're going to make the crossing. And I mean, we do it with the exception of COVID. We cross the border, I'm going to say 4 times a year, every year. So Lewis doesn't give a fudge about alcohol and stuff. But he wants to send me gluten and sugar. Anyways, so I believe that that is all that I have to say about that. So yeah, again, if you're crossing, check. That's the best advice that I can give you. It's really easy. If that's what's scaring you from coming here, then don't let that scare you. It's really not a big deal. I don't even think my mother was a customs agent for a long time, and they didn't even carry guns until about 15, 20 years ago. I don't think they carried guns until after 9/11. Like, seriously, it wasn't a big deal. Also, know what your limits are. So if you want to bring booze back, if you want to bring cigarettes back, if you're bringing gifts, know what your limit is. For us, we're allowed $800 per person if you're there for more than 3 days. You know, just knowing that. We keep all of our receipts in the glove box of the truck. The night before we cross the border, I add everything up. We split it amongst us, and we make sure that, you know, everybody's under $800. Hubby crosses once or twice a week. Wow. Cousin is in Windsor going to school. Lewis needs a chillax pill. What's going on? Did I miss something? Anyways. Oh, Rob will send me his gift list. Fantastic. Wait, if I send him gifts, does that mean he'll have my return address? That could be a problem. Anyways. You will pay more for gas up here. That was the other thing that I wanted to say. Our gas is more expensive because even though we're in a country that produces a lot of gas, we built a pipeline that we paid for to ship the gas to the US so that you guys could sell it back to us. So it's more expensive here, just so you know. All right. So it is getting late. So we are going to move right into. All right, let's get into the random thoughts. Why can I never reopen the chat? God. Okay. Yes, duty free is fantastic, but sometimes you can get a better price. I know that if I'm going to New Jersey, that I'm stocking up at Joe Canals in Rio Grande before I cross the border because Joe Canals is cheaper than duty free. Yes. Hi, Tom. Hawkins cheesies are the best. I'm not sure if I had those in your box, Sonia. The Hawkins cheesies, that box that I made for you. I thought that I'd put some in there. But yes, ketchup chips, which I don't believe that you tried. And it is at exit 4, so that's very convenient. Boots in. All right, random thought number 1. Heat, pressure, and time are the 3 things that make diamonds. They're also the 3 things that make waffles. You ever stay in a hotel and they have that waffle thing that flips? That thing's pretty cool. That's a lot of fun. You took your chillax pills, you get angry real easy. Why are you getting angry, Lewis? This is an anger-free zone. Have fun. I can't eat waffles, Sue, but I can eat chaffles. Ketchup and mustard chips. I don't think I've ever seen mustard chips. But ketchup chips for sure. And I have the matching hats, so that might be fun too. Random thought number 2. In every Olympic event, they should have an average person compete so we have a point of reference and we can appreciate the athletes more. That actually makes sense. They're all competing with each other for like hundredths of a second. I can't fathom that. Oh, can and should. Yes, can and should are definitely 2 different things. And you have the matching shirts. Fantastic. Yes, Tom is here, and he's going through all he knows about Canada. There's some chips in the UK. They have chicken and waffle lays. We actually had that as a flavor that they were testing. So I'm not sure. I don't think that we have it regular, but it is something that they did a test. The 2-week 100-meter stroll. So 100 meters would be roughly 336 feet for those of you non-metric. The Olympics would be great that way. I do have the apron with the big hot dog on it. Canadian cigarettes are better than American, less garbage in them, but the pictures on the carton to scare you. Yes, they do. Actually, chicken pot pie flavored chips might be good. Although, see, for us, it was always a big deal. We would go to the States and I would always get a carton of Marlboro Lights because we didn't have those here. Okay, random thought number 3. You only have one birthday. The rest are congratulations for surviving the year. Would the Americans win more track events if they used how many Corvettes measurements? I don't think so. I'm not sure that they would know. How many Corvettes do you have to run? Did anybody see there was it an Olympic qualifier in speed skating? And it was women's speed skating. And the 2 ladies from China, I believe it was 15 laps on the oval. And during the second lap, one of the athletes from China went all out, which is very unusual in speed skating. Usually they're not going all out till the last couple of laps. And she went all out and she basically lapped everybody. And she came in behind the crowd. And the announcer announces how many laps are left based on who's in first place. So even though she was at the back of the pack, she had lapped everybody and she was in first place, even though she was behind everybody. And he was announcing laps based on her performance and not the rest of the skaters. So the 2 Chinese athletes stayed right at the back of the pack until everybody started speeding up for the last couple of rounds. And then they started picking up the pace with them. And when everybody crossed the line thinking that they were done, and the first Chinese athlete who had lapped everybody actually finished the race, the other one continued to skate the extra lap and actually finished with silver. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It's fantastic. It's like quite the strategy. But anyways, I digress. Though I was married to a Canadian, I've only been to Niagara Falls. There's a joke somewhere, Tom, and I'm sure that you're going to think of it. All right, a group of squid should be called a squad. We definitely missed out on something there, not naming them squads. All right, and boy, we're moving right along here. Random thought number 5. I don't bring my pets. So you don't need a passport for your pet, William, but you do need all of their papers. But we leave Caesar at home because he barks. He is a very big barker, and nobody would be able to walk past the trailer without him ripping right through the tent. So he does not get to come. And the type of trailer that we have with the tip outs on the end, it gets way too hot in there. So I would not feel comfortable going out for the day and, leaving him behind. We go to the beach for a couple hours and he's stuck in that hot trailer. I wouldn't be comfortable with that. Well, I don't know, Jim. Now you're going to make me look it up. It should be a squad. It's a shoal. The official collective noun for squid is actually a shoal, but cephalopod fans around the world have united in a petition to make squad a bona fide term. Who knew? Going to Canada in 2 years. I'm already here. A group of squid is called calamari. Yeah, maybe. Yes, and Tanya, that's true. I forgot about that. Tanya was the babysitter for Caesar. Whenever we'd go somewhere, he would go stay with her. So, cherry Twizzlers sold in Canada. Yes, they are. And it's fun to bite both ends off and use it as a straw. Official term is a squad of squid. Other used terms shall school, conspiracy, and what shall school, conspiracy, and audience. That doesn't sound real. Sonia's favorite food choice is squid? I don't think it is. Maybe you could, Lewis. I won't be here that weekend, though. Bree's 2 hours away from Canada, going tomorrow. Plus, there's a waterfall called, I'm not saying that. How appropriate for me to go there? Possibly. So, you would almost have to go past Vancouver. Wait, I'm already in Los Angeles. You can't see me, but I'm on another screen looking at another map. So if you went out towards where Daryl is, there's lots to see there. But yeah, you'd almost have to. Yeah, you'd have to go towards Chilliwack or up towards Whistler. I don't think there's much in Vancouver in terms of waterfalls. You don't have to delete your cuss. I'm just not saying it. Before you book, when is the best time to do the Trans-Canada Highway? Well, you don't want to be here. I mean, if you're staying in hotels, you can come whenever you like. Don't recommend coming when there's snow. Unless you have snow tires, which being from North Carolina, I doubt that you do. But Phil says his goofy red heart is blocking the falls names. Just wait and it'll move up. Anytime from the third weekend in May until mid-September, you're going to be fine. I mean, you're fine beyond those seasons, but if you want it to be warm and you want to get out of your car in a t-shirt and look at things, I strongly recommend late June, July, or August are the best times to visit anything in Canada. Yeah, and it'll probably take you a month to do it, especially depending on where you're coming from. You're not going to, I highly doubt you're going to do the Trans-Canada in Newfoundland without, you're going to have to take the ferry and do it from there. And then to go all the way across to Vancouver and then to come back. It is approximately, it's a little over 2,000 miles. Gord will only cuss while drinking. That's not true, but I do pick my places. Okay, so I don't think I said number 5. Number 5, finding worms in apples has been much less of a problem than I anticipated experiencing as a kid. Isn't that true? Weren't we all shown those cartoons with the worms in them and everything? When visiting Canada, you must wear a suit like Don Cherry. That would actually be a good idea. And that's assuming that any of you know who Don Cherry is other than Tom. I'm not sure what that was. There was a big bang from downstairs. And we're going to have to wrap this up soon. I don't know what's happening. There's a lot of noise. Anyways. Well, because we are getting towards the end, let's get right into Fatima's favorite part of the evening. Why does that chat keep disappearing? God. Yes, finding half a worm is far more problematic. That is true. I've never specifically seen moose milk sold in stores. I believe it's a drink that you are going to have to look up. Gord does have a potty mouth. I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. I was late. I have to make up my time. I also have to clean the kitchen. So what does moose milk taste like? It tastes like regular milk with a lot of booze in it. All right. Would you rather live next to an active volcano or a poorly secured prison? Well, that's interesting. You're not going to dress like Don Cherry? It's almost like you can make a turtleneck with your shirt collar. Thank you, Fatima. I don't recall that either. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I don't recall it. Milking a moose would be good content. Well, you are coming to Canada. Oh, we're kind of split 50-50 between the volcano and the prison. That's interesting. Too much White Claw I wouldn't remember. I don't know. I'm not sure that's appropriate, Lewis. Who's Don Cherry? Phil, you don't know who Don Cherry is? Let me see if I can find a picture of Don Cherry for you. Don Cherry is former coach of the Boston Bruins, who became a broadcaster for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and is best known for his controversial views on everything. Actually got fired for some comments that he made, but he is also very well known for the way he dresses. Let me get back over here. Let me see. I should be able to share that screen. All right. Are you guys ready for this? You might want to put your sunglasses on. This is Don Cherry. Wait, can you still hear me? Does my mic still work when I do this? I don't even know. Let me go back over here. Yeah, I'm not muted. Okay. Yeah. So good old Don. Wait, I'm back here. Put this up. Yeah, good old Don over here likes to dress up. And they actually had a little skit about him where he goes to a fabric store and he picks out curtain material and brings it to his tailor, who makes these ridiculous suits for him. And so it was quite fun. Anyways, so all right, so we're kind of is it true that all Canadians watch hockey? I don't know. Is it true that all Americans watch football? A lot of Canadians do watch and play hockey, but not everyone, I don't think. Yeah, Don was very flamboyant. He was very flamboyant as the coach of the Bruins as well. Tanya's known me for 17 years, rarely heard me curse. It's because you were always in the other room. Anyways. Yeah, Don's a little different. All right. Would you rather teach a water aerobics class to teenagers or a hip hop dance class to the elderly? Well, I would rather not teach anything to teenagers because I've had 5 of them, and yeah, it's something else. Wait, is that? Yeah, I'll get rid of that. It's not fun teaching anything to teenagers, but I'm not sure that I know first aid well enough to teach hip hop to elderly people. Plus, if you've ever seen me dance, I'm probably better off in the pool. And again, we're split. Half for the elderly, half for the kids. Fatima taught high school boys gym. Well, there you go. Would you rather always eat burnt food or undercooked food without getting sick? I really don't like either. Oh, that's very funny, Tanya. That's very good. Good. Yeah. All right. And the dog's about to start barking. Here we go. Yeah, that's for you, Tanya. All right. That's pretty funny. Yes. Synchronized swimming. If one drowns, they all have to drown. If one goes into the cornfield, they all have to go into the cornfield. I'm okay with overcooked. Burnt, not so much. And undercooked, definitely not. Yeah, I don't know. I guess undercooked if you're not going to get sick. At least it would taste like something. Burnt is just going to taste burnt all the time. Cornfields do not rock. You're the only teen in here and you're sad. No, it wasn't Stephen King's cornfield, that's for sure. Would you rather go to bed without eating dinner or not eat all day until dinner? I would definitely rather go all day without eating until dinner, and I do it quite often. Only 2 had a small turning radius. That's true. Really wish I had left the camera on. I didn't even that camera's not going back in the. I think I'm going to get a dedicated dash camera this year. Because that one it shuts itself off. It overheats. It gets too hot in the dash. So I think I'm going to get a dedicated dash camera. Who was it? Was it? I think it was Adventure Bandits. Somebody that I follow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Adventure Bandits. Somebody that I follow on TikTok. That's RV, and they got a dash cam off of what's the other side? Was it Temu for like $12? It's like I can't afford not to have one at that price. Might as well try it. Yes, Jim. We know that Garmin sucks. Fixed or not fixed. You have Trip Wizard. Put it on your phone. It put your RV measurements in there, and it will be an RV GPS. Would you rather be stuck in an elevator or stuck in an air duct? Well, if any of you know me, you would know that I am extremely claustrophobic. So definitely don't want to be stuck in an air vent. That is for sure. Elevators don't scare me at all. The new truck camper created by Storyteller may be built in a Ram truck because of the turning radius. There you go. All right, Lewis, you do that. Yeah, I could definitely not do the air duct. Definitely couldn't do the air duct. There was a Cheers episode where Diane is stuck in the floor, in one of the vents in the floor, and no, couldn't do it. Elevator, but you don't want it to fall 500 flights. I don't think that they have 500-story buildings. Now, okay, bye, Sue. Thanks for hanging out. Knowing what I know about elevators, it's literally impossible for them to fall. So I guess I'd rather be stuck in the elevator and it'd just be inconvenienced. And depends on who you're stuck in the elevator with. Air duct was good for John McClane. It was, but I'm not John McClane. That's why Fatima couldn't go to prison. That's the reason. You've been stuck in an elevator during a blackout and had to exit the car roof hatch. Not fun. Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun at all. But still better than doing the air ducts. For me, anyways. Oh, yes, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thank you, William. How many miles is the Trans-Canada Highway? I do not know. But I know that from coast to coast, Canada is about 2,000 miles, and the Trans-Canada Highway goes all the way across. So tap dancing is great in an elevator. Sounds awesome. I will take your word for it. I don't tap dance. Let me see if I can look that up. No, I don't want images. Let me see. Oh, I was completely wrong. 7,476 kilometers or 4,645 miles. So good luck with that, Lewis. That is quite a feat. And again, that will take you to Newfoundland, which you can only get there one way, and it's by ferry, and it is not cheap. Okay, good night, Tanya. Thanks for hanging out. And now Lewis is trying to get rid of me. Usually he's trying to keep me late. I'm going to do a few more minutes because I was late. So Sonia had a good point. You need Canadian mist stuck in a Canadian elevator? Can Americans purchase property in Canada? This is a good question. Depends on what it's for. They kind of put a little ban on it. As they did like in Florida, because foreigners, mostly from the Middle East, were coming and buying up property and using it as Airbnbs. And there was a housing crisis. And so they didn't want foreigners buying houses to rent to people who actually lived here. So they kind of put a ban on it. I'm not sure if that's changed or not. I know that last year in Canada, well, not so much in Canada, but in Ottawa, where I live, we actually have to declare that we live in our homes. If you have a vacant home, they will tax you for it because there's not enough houses here, so they don't want any homes being vacant. From Greensboro to Waco is like 1,000+ miles. Yeah. Well, that's good. Then you won't get as tired and you can go faster. But then whoever's sleeping misses stuff. So I don't know. All right, gang. I'm going to call it quits there. Alex is home. I'm going to go make his plate. So thanks for joining. Let's see. Do I have anything else? What is coming up for the week? Let me see. Charlie Grace is not doing a live stream tonight. It is put off till next week, so we will join her next week. If you missed my video on Saturday, I'll leave a link in the chat because I know I put it here somewhere. There we go. So I do have one more Quebec video coming. That will be our last little hoorah in Quebec. But that one has waterfalls. So stay tuned for that one. But if you haven't seen this one, go back and watch it. What else is going on? Captain Jack's on tomorrow night from 6 to 8. Sonia is on 6-ish on Garden State Paint on Thursday night. And 7 to 9 on the RV DJ channel. And I assume she will be doing a release on Saturday at 10. Sue and Bob are on Lucky Dog Productions Saturday 9 to 10. And if I forgot anyone, I apologize. Feel free to put it in the chat if you're releasing something this week. And on that note, thank you all for joining, and we will see you next week. I got my light back, my tree's down. Gillen's here doing work. Just want to say, just want to wait. Gonna stick your hand in. There you go. Gillen's here. All right, guys. Have a great night. Thanks again. Take care.